Hello! Yeah, I'm kind of a shock that I'm here, but at least for you guys, I have a feeling. Don't worry about it though, your teacher will be in for the next 12 minutes. Everybody's gonna be fine, everybody's gonna be Gucci, sit down. You're going to sit down, thank you. Everything's gonna be alright, okay, we're Gucci. Unfortunately, my house fell apart due to me doing, I guess you could say, an expose on some stuff, so some creatures weren't a little happy with me. So my audio's kind of fucked up right now. So I decided, and also I'm not as strong as I normally am, so went to the closest place that I could to do my audio recordings for a couple of videos, but we're just gonna do one today, so hopefully you guys can bear with me. I heard you're doing some research into SCP-2095, which is something that I happened to have made some sort of reference to in my one expose. So because of that, we're gonna read that today. I hope you guys will be able to enjoy for these next 10 minutes, because guess what, my lovelies? There are no windows, okay? So you're gonna be stuck here whether you like it or not, and when I'm done, everybody will be fine. I just needed some audio, okay? Item number SCP-2095. Object class, safe. Special containment procedures. The reliquary Site-26 was constructed around SCP-2095, preventing access and enclosing it from view. Site-26 has been disguised as a weather observatory, and agents within the Greek government are to ensure that the site is publicly viewed as such. Description. SCP-2095 is primarily a subterranean temple complex located at Euros, an arid, inhabited Greek island in the Aegean Sea. Structure predates previously known archaeological sites on the island. Inscriptions found within included Cretan hieroglyphs, Linear A, Hittite cuneiform, and a previously unknown writing system composed of spiral-shaped glyphs varying in complexity. Now, before we move, there are two footnotes. One right next to the temple complex located in Euros, and it says part of the outer structure is above ground. The interior of SCP-2095 is entirely subsurface. Now, regarding the languages, specifically it says composed of spiral-shaped glyphs and complexity. There's a footnote that says, of the writing systems used at SCP-2095, only Hittite cuneiform has been able to be translated. SCP-2095 is composed of entirely biological material and is believed to have once been a living organism. Samples taken from SCP-2095 have revealed bone, chitin, muscle, adipose, and viscera. Radiocarbon dating has placed the subject's death at Cal 1200 to 1000 BCE, with soft tissue having undergone a form of embalmment. Chambers are connected via tunnels, which are structurally and cellularly similar to the inner lining of the human intestinal tract. Large sphincters appear to have served as doors and are permanently relaxed. These portals would likely have been able to open and close as needed pre-mortem. The largest room contains an altar composed of bone. A component of SCP-2095 organism, forensic evidence suggests that it was used in a sacrificial manner. It is believed that the living sacrifices provided SCP-2095 with the nutrients necessary for its survival, and the floor itself shows signs of acidic corrosion. The base of the altar has been carved into an Ouroboros, believed to be a symbol of religious importance to the creators of SCP-95. 29 scrolls were discovered within the northernmost chamber of SCP-2095. Only 4 were found within to be written in Hittite cuneiform, while the rest remain undecipherable. For those 4, 3 are considered to be spiritual/philosophical in nature, while one appears to be an inventory report. Foundation archaeologists have found evidence of warfare throughout the island. This has included skeletal remains depicting likely anomalous causes for death, such as implosion, internal combustion, disintegration, radiation poisoning, and last but not least, fatal physical reconfiguration. The Foundation became aware of SCP-2095 after reports of a quote-unquote cathedral of bone being discovered by a team of Greek archaeologists who have been studying a large mound in the Isle of Euros. Class B amnestics were administered to the archaeologists, and they were returned to the general population. SCP-2095 was easily secured, and construction of Reliquary Site-26 was completed by December 9, 1949. Due to the fact that there are 4 pieces of writing that are legible, that the Foundation can translate, we are going to be starting with the inventory and then moving down. The inventory specifically says 1,340 slaves, minus 10 surrender to the shrine of consumption, while the black moon holds dominion over the heavens. 12 bilu of gold, pure. There's a footnote that basically says how much it was, and basically how much gold they had was 360 kilograms. 1,200 goats, 300 pegs. It says fragment missing. Next it moves on to our Sacred Legion, 3,000 Adidite faithful, 500 Thracian faithful, including 12 storm beasts of such, 2,000 Uratu, otherwise known as converts or conscripts, 400 Sardinian mercenaries, 250 Kaskin faithful, and 100 Cathcor conspirators. It says sort of, can their loyalty be trusted when they were so easily betrayed their own? Which there's a footnote basically is saying this is likely the Menonians. This is context remains unknown. If I can remember right, the Menonians did sort of do spying on people for the Sarkites against the Mechanites, which are basically a whole bunch of robot sort of people. That's a whole entire video in of itself. And the last group of people that are part of this supposedly faithful is 300 Mycenaean mercenaries. The last thing that is written is the armory was filled with 2,550 bone-crafted blades and shields, 2,000 bone-crafted bows, 10,000 bone-crafted arrows poisoned with hellebore and venom of adder, 60 amphora of illegible, 200 amphora of quote-unquote liquid fire, most likely Greek fire. It was kind of weird though because Greek fire during this type of war hadn't been invented for a couple hundred years. Anyways, 20 cursed tablets placed around the perimeter of the island, and 1 amphora of red death. Now that we have an idea of what was inside of this lovely place, we're moving on to the scrolls. The first scroll being
the wound cut from the flesh of totality. Deep, it severed the line to future and past. Drawn to its ancient fester, gods swarmed as flies to a corpse. We waited within bloodless veins, faithful to that which we could not know, unable to imagine that we might become their greater. Here we slept, until our souls became flesh. Son Alku.
The second scroll, half of it being illegible. It says now,
the swineherd prostrated himself before the sorcerer king and said, Great sorcerer, king of Arshimok, heart of man and light of lights, I speak for the folk of the Cold Marsh. We fear the red lanterns that dance without harmony. Our spirit guides warn of ill omens. And Ion did assure the men,
I have gazed upon the faceless ones, surveyors of his undulating vastness. Their chief is blind, castrated by our words and will. He sings songs of anarchy, but they will not come again. These terrible spirits do not deserve our love. Render unto them no sacrifice until the stars have aligned. Son Vith.
The third scroll being,
and to his flock Ion thus spoke.
I have stepped beyond the flow of dreams, stood before the old ones within their own desolate domain. I have endured their intolerable force across countless eons. I have seen the infinite dead worlds, murdered death herself. I have read the entrails of our Creator, beheld eternity unfurled. Know that our paradise draws near, and with our own flesh we shall birth it. Son Sikal.
There's an addendum after all this that says, on May 24th, 2014, an earthquake occurred in the Aegean Sea. Reliquary Site 26 was unharmed, as were the anomalous objects retained within since its construction. However, SCP-2095 did suffer some structural damage, but it actually proved to be a serendipitous event. A hitherto unknown sphincter, sealed and hidden through calcification to Tasty, had ruptured open within the altar chamber. Exploration of the chamber has led to the discovery of a human male, The individual has shown no signs of decay, and although lacking a detectable heartbeat, EEG scans have revealed low-level brain activity. Research into the subject and its relationship to SCP-2095 is currently ongoing. Found inside was a single well-preserved scroll, strewn carelessly and likely never meant to be contained within. Deduced to be a letter, it is believed to have been written by the ruling authority at SCP-2095, but had been unsent, possibly due to the events directly referenced within. The documents have been translated, and it is now accessible for viewing by Foundation personnel. So, here is the unsent letter.
Grand Karsus Ion, may this missive find you at Kytheria, for it shall be my last. Our enemies have begun their assault on the island, and we have completed the rite of preservation. The temple will sleep and await resurrection by the children of Adidam. The fallen kingdoms and followers of Mechane have united against us, even as their nations crumble. Still, they have transmuted our every victory in the region to that of defeat, even as their own fates are sealed. The Bleeding Heart is our last stronghold in the Aegean Sea, but no doubt our eastern domain remains strong under your eternal gaze. The wounds sustained today will heal into the ages of ages. We are undying. Their victory here shall be hollow. Karsus Mekansa has claimed their profane instruments and sails for Kytheria as I write this. I vow that none are to leave this island alive. May their names be obliterated and their flesh consumed. We summon the Red Death. For the blood of heathens we sacrifice ourselves. We will meet again in Adidam. I remain Karsus Tundas.
And there's this lovely little seal that was attached to the letter. Looks kind of cool. Hope you guys have a good day.